Oh yeah, a UCS style U-wing. G'day YouTube, down to Bricks here, and welcome to this week's video on a custom U-wing. Isn't this thing a beauty? And have a look at the size of it. Holy dooly. I've had to get real low down on the table here just so I could get everything in frame because it really is that big. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the build. Of course, I'm going to show all the features of this set, and I'm also going to do some comparisons with some Lego UCS sets, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. But if you'd like to know more about the designer, the instructions, and more about the parts to put this set together, I did do a video a little while ago, and you can check out that video. I'll put a card up so you can go and have a look at that. Now in that video, I did talk about that I was waiting on a couple of parts, some parts in the engine here. And I also said in that video that it wouldn't be too long before you'd be seeing this video. It has taken a few months for me to get to it because those parts I was waiting on never actually came. So I had to do something else to put this all together and get this video out. And then of course, as soon as I had it all done, guess what showed up? The parts I was waiting on, of course. But that doesn't matter because I've got it built now and we're gonna have a good old look at this set. But straight off the bat, I just have to say how good this ship looks. It is truly amazing, and it's gonna fit right alongside the official Lego UCS sets without a doubt. I mean, it's definitely on par with what Lego do. So I am super impressed with it. Now, as a huge Rogue One fan and a huge U-wing fan, even though this wasn't cheap, I am very, very happy to have this as part of my collection. So with the build process, and holy dooly, what a build process this was. Now this is over 3,300 parts, and because obviously I had to bricklink all the parts, I just had massive piles of bricks and I just threw them all on the table, and instead of being organized and sorting them and all that, I bugger this, let's just build it. So I just went gun-ho, and probably wasn't the best technique because gun-ho was anything but what it was, because trying to find all the parts you needed amongst 3,300 parts was not easy. I'll put a picky up here and show you what my table, this is a table I use. It's a huge table and I had it covered from end to end in pieces. And when you had one little 1x1 piece as part of this build and you had to look through all those parts for it, yeah, it was a little bit time consuming, and it did take me a number of hours. I didn't end up recording how long it took me, but it was a long time to put this thing together, but it was very enjoyable all the same. So with the build, you actually build it in blocks. So you start with the undercarriage or the hull of the ship. So you build that first, and it has all the sliding doors. I'm going to get to all that and show you all about that. And then you build the actual, I guess it's like the structure of the whole sort of main bulkhead of the ship, I guess. It's the main structure that joins it all together. So you build that, then you actually build the inner workings of the cockpit. So you have all your display, all your seating, and a few other just blocks building it up at the back. And then you build the actual the weaponry of the ship. So you build this front section and your laser cannons here, and then to top it off you build this whole midsection here, just a little strip that includes your cockpit canopy and all this beautiful detailing along the back. So we build that strip, and then you build the bulkhead itself that just goes straight over the top, and that really brings it all together. As you're building it, you sort of think, oh yeah, this is cool. Yeah, oh yeah, I love this detail, and oh, this is going well, and I sort of see where it's going. But it's not until you put this top bulkhead section on that it really comes together, and you start going, crikey, this thing is looking really awesome. So it takes you 6 steps just to build this whole center section. Now there's only 8 steps in the whole build, so 6 all go into that, and then of course you do your 2 wings and your 4 engines to finish it off. With the wings, with the assembling of the wings, it's actually reminded me a lot of building the Imperial shuttle. So it's a lot of Technic beams all interlocking, and then a lot of snot technique down the side here just to tile it off and get that sloping angle of the wings. And they're quite a bit of fun when you've got them. It's almost like you've got this big old sword, and Mini Dub and I are having a bit of fun waving them around at each other, which you probably shouldn't do, but you know, it was all good fun. And then the engines, and obviously you have 4 engines and 2 mirror each other, but the detail and the parts that you pour into these engines, I mean, the detail on them, as you're seeing now, I mean, it's really beautiful. They are fantastic looking engines. Once you've finished building the ship itself, you're not actually done with the building, because we have a number of accessories that go along with how you're going to display this beautiful looking ship. So when you finish building it, it's actually just sitting on the hull or the belly of the ship, I guess, and it sits there quite fine. It is a little bit hard to actually move this around. You have to be a little bit careful, I find, picking it up from the very back and the very front of the main center section is the best way to do it. You can pick it up from the very, again, the belly of the ship, but you can actually dislodge the cargo doors, and they're a little bit tricky to get back on. So I find picking it up from the front and back. But the first thing you get to do is build the landing gear, and this is probably my biggest negative, and probably really my only negative. There's probably one other thing that some people may feel is a negative. I don't whatsoever, but the landing gear, it basically, all it does is fit on with a 2x2 round brick. So if I was to give this just a little gentle nudge right now, it would just collapse straight off the landing gear. Now, the idea is that you can just remove them and you're rid of them, you can't see them, but it does make it rather flimsy, and I'm quite nervous around it when it's sitting just on these 4 skids. Ultimately, I think this is probably the best way to display it. I do, however, I'm going to be a little bit nervous putting it on my display shelves like this, because, you know, if you walk into one of these stands and you give it a little bump, I'm afraid this thing might just topple over, which would be an absolute nightmare. But yeah, that's probably my, well, as I said, my really only negative to this set is the skids. I would have liked to seen them attach a little bit more firmly. You also get to build a display stand for some minifigures. So obviously it doesn't come with the minifigures. It all is sourced from Bricklink, so you have to purchase them yourself. I have the whole collection of Rogue One Lego sets, so I had all the minifigures, and these are some very, very cool minifigs. So I'm very happy to display them with this ship. Now, normally you would have your display plaque on the end of this, and as you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of stickers, so I'm not going to use those. So I didn't do that. I made a few little adjustments so I could just have the minifigures. So this is the sticker sheet. Now, probably one of the biggest thing is the windscreen piece here for the ship. It really should have these stickers on there to have a more authentic look, I guess. But as you guys know, not a fan of stickers at all. These very well could be great quality stickers. I haven't used them. I don't know what they would last like. I don't have any luck with Lego stickers, so I didn't want to tempt fate using these ones here. So I didn't use those. Now, so you can have this as your display, looking fine, but you can actually display it with the wings folded out. Now that is very impressive, and I'm going to show you that very shortly. But to do so, you have this stand, and you have a little section underneath that just sits over this, sits on the belly nice and solid on this stand. Then you have these little stands, I guess, another stand, a stand for some more stands, and these are actually to hold the wings up. Now, this is what I would see that some people are going to say is a negative, because with the wings folded out in that mode, there's no support for the wings. So you have to have these underneath to support the wings, because they really only attach with a Technic pin at the very back here. So obviously it pivots out, but there's no strength to it whatsoever. And like I said, I am completely happy with that, because these things are huge. They're well over 2 feet long. Now, to support something like that, man, you would have to have some seriously strong hinging strength in there to hold this wing up. And what would it look like? You know, I just don't think it's actually possible without actually having the ship look different to what it's supposed to. So I'm quite fine with that. I would love to display it that way. I love the look of the U-wing with the wings out, but it's bloody huge when you do that. And I don't know who has the display space for that, but I certainly don't. Now, yeah, I'm not short of display space, but even I can't display it like that. In saying that, I'm going to try. I'm going to see what I can come up with, but yeah, I really don't think I'm going to be able to achieve that. Well, I guess that's all we need to know about the build of this U-wing. So let's talk about the features. So as I mentioned earlier, the cargo doors do open up, and there's some seating inside, and we do have the cannon in there as well, which you can just open and close the door. It doesn't get in the way. That works really well. Now, the other thing, of course, is the other display option. So let's get it on the stand and get these wings out. My, oh my, have a look at that. This thing is absolutely huge. So you can understand why they've had to use these little stands. You can just see it hinges just right there. So it's, if I move it a little bit, you can just see it hinges on that point there. So it's only a pin holding that. And here's the other pin. You can remove that if you're going to display it like this, and then it just clips into the side here to lock it into place. But oh, have a look at that wing. Isn't that a thing of beauty? I guess maybe if you use clear bricks, because if you're looking at it like that, I mean, it kind of stands out a little bit, I guess. I have left the skids on. Like I said, they're a little bit annoying to take on and off, so I've just left them on there because, like I said, I really don't think I'm going to be able to display it like this, and you certainly can't move it like this. So, and here it is sitting up on the stand. I guess one thing, I'm not the biggest fan of this big block of a stand. If we look over to the UCS style, we can see them here. I don't know. I don't seem to notice those ones so much compared to this. I don't know what it is. I'm probably just talking gibberish, but yeah. Oh man, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Gotta love the U-wing. Let's take a bit of a detailed look over the U-wing. I guess in this mode you can see a lot of the Technic beam holes and the brick holes along here, which is probably not the most attractive thing, but I guess if you're just looking, you know, on display like that, you're not really going to notice them. So if we go back here to the engines, lots and lots of pieces in these engines, lots of detail. Very nice indeed. Down the sides, a lot of tiles, but of course some wedge pieces and plates just to have a little bit more texture to the whole build. We do have these little wings on the side here that you can adjust. Oh, they are a little bit stiff, but you can adjust them up and down. Underneath we have our canopy, so you can see right through from the top down underneath. Let's see if I can actually get a shot of that. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Now let's see if I can. There we go. You can see right through there. Let's see where's my hand. There we go. That is very cool. The very front here, I love this look down there. That just looks so mean, doesn't it? We have these, I guess these are like cooling fins along the front, which I'm not sure much about the design of the U-Wing, but obviously the engines are on the side here, so I'm not quite sure what the cooling fins on the front here. Has them on the rear as well. Let me know in the comments if you know about that. So I guess while it's in this mode, we should get out a couple of other ships and do a comparison. So if we're going to compare a U-Wing to something, it has to be an X-Wing, doesn't it? And don't these two look awesome together? And the scale, I think, actually works really well. You would expect the U-Wing to be quite a bit bigger than the X-Wing. And let's see if we can get up a bit higher here. Oh yeah, have a look at that. That could be a thumbnail right there. That does look awesome. But then, if we're going to have a U-Wing and an X-Wing, what else can we use? Well, it would have to be the Y-Wing. So here we go with our Y-Wing, our U-Wing, and our X-Wing. And I have to get quite a ways back to get this all into frame. Can I get a shot like that? Oh yeah, boy. That looks awesome. Wow, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? Now just for laughs, let's bring in the official Lego U-Wing, and you can just see the difference in the size, and I hope that gives you some scale on how big this custom U-Wing really is. And now a completely unrelated comparison. This is my only other purchased custom UCS style set, and it is Anyo's Venator. And again, this really just highlights how big this U-Wing is. Have a look at that. That is huge. So there we have it, folks, the StarBricks U-Wing. I've got to say, I'm a pretty happy chappy at the moment seeing all of these lined up together. Don't they look fantastic? Now, I will put a link down below in the description for StarBricks. Unfortunately, these set of instructions for the U-Wings have sold out. Go ahead, contact him. I'm not sure if he's ever going to re-release the instructions. He has a number of other builds on his website, so go and check those out. They all look fantastic, I've got to say. I might even look at picking up another one myself because I really did enjoy this build. And speaking of enjoyment, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more, and I'd love to hear from you. So please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about this build and everything that you've seen here today. That would be fantastic. But as always, a big thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.